All right, we're doing descending diatonic triads. So if I'm going to do, first of all, I'll just talk about real quick on ascending, like C major, D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, B diminished, and C major. I'm going to replace two of those chords. I'm going to replace, first of all, just the messed up 7 diminished, and I'm just going to put it, instead of doing a 7 diminished, I'm going to put a 5 chord with a 7 in the bass. Doesn't make sense right now? And instead of 3 minor, I'm going to put a 1 chord with a 3 in the bass. Meaning I'm going to be in the key of C, so before I descend them, I guess I should ascend them. C, I'm going to do D minor. Now I could do E minor, right? But what I'm going to do instead of E minor and all this stuff is I'm going to do a C chord with a 3rd in the bass. So the bass player is still going to play E, E, and then C. So I'm going to have C, D minor, C with an E in the bass, F major, G major, A minor, and instead of playing this B messed up chord, which is really hard to do and I can't even get all the notes, I'm going to do G with the B in the bass. So at least I fulfill the need to do this. By having that B in the bass, it gives me the sense of still climbing or ascending. So C, D minor, I could do E minor, or I could do C with an E in the bass. It's going to depend on whether I want to be folky or whether I want to be emotional. Right now I'm going to teach you the folky way. A minor, B messed up, and I could go back to C major here. So I could do C major, G with the B in the bass, A minor, G, cool, F major. Now I could go to E minor, which is fine, D minor, G. So anytime it says 1/3 in the sheet, you could have really just played a 3 minor. Once again, C as a bar chord, G with the B in the bass, A minor, G in the bass, or G, sorry, F. I could do E minor right here, or I could do E with a C in the bass, or C with an E in the bass. Doesn't matter. D minor, G. Now I could have started with a C chord here, and then gone to G with the B in the bass, versus C chord here. I think this would be a little better, because it's closer. So not only is it easier, do I move less, but it's going to sound better. Because the notes are so close together. It's called voice leading. F, and then I'm going to go C with an E in the bass, and then D minor. Now instead of going straight to the C, I'm going to go D minor. I'm going to go to G. We'll learn why later. That's the key of C, and then I can go back to C, right? Now I'm going to do all this in the key of G, and the key of G, my friend, has F sharp. The chords in the key of G would be 1 major, G, A minor is 2 minor, B minor is 3 minor, but I could also play G with a B in the bass. Ooh, look at that chord. What that is this G power chord up the octave. Got to stick that finger out because that's not as powerful as you'd like it to be. Tuning discrepancy. So that one note has to move back up rather than being down a half step. It has to move back up. So the octaves get bigger here. That's root. Right? And then the only thing I'm missing is the 3rd. So this is a G with a B in the bass. G major, A minor, G with a B in the bass, C major, D major, E minor, F sharp, a D with an F sharp in the bass. It's that same principle. Here's a D chord, but instead of playing F sharp diminished, which would be way too hard for you, I'm going to make a D with an F sharp in the bass and then to G. On the other hand, I could have, instead of playing this G bar chord, I could have played the G open chord. Couldn't I have? So G, D with an F sharp in the bass, E minor, D, C, G with a B in the bass, A minor, and then I jump up to D, which is the best chord, to lead me home to G. So here I start with an open G, but it's not really an open G, it's a capo G. D with an F sharp in the bass, which by the way, for you folks at home who like to play open chords, D, there's a D with an F sharp in the bass. Does that make sense? It's a D chord, F sharp in there. I do that. right? Can't play a love song without that. These are really walk downs is what I'm trying to show you. If I walk down from G to D with the F sharp in the bass to E minor. And that's a walk up, G. So this is E minor, 'cause I won't back down, right? Tom Petty wouldn't have any money without this shit, right? And that's not a slam on Tom Petty. I love Tom Petty, he's great, but he wouldn't be able to write songs if he didn't have walk downs. If I leave here tomorrow, Free Bird. Probably don't even know Free Bird.
No, I know that.
Okay, good.
I'm actually on that.
C, G with the B in the bass, A minor. Or I can do G with the B in the bass, A minor. What I do in a walk down is I try to make this major chord to the minor chord. I don't know if you know anything about relative minor yet. You probably don't. Probably next time. But what I do is I walk it down to a minor chord. Isn't that nice and smooth? So I could do that up here open. G, D with an F sharp in the bass, E minor bar chord. Cool. Then I walk it down a little further. D, C. Now here I can go to the B minor, to A minor, but that's real emotional. Might not want to be that emotional. I might go C, G with a B in the bass, A minor, and then to D, to G. If it starts to sound like, if I saw you in heaven, Tears from Heaven, right?
Yeah, I think I know.
Yeah, Eric Clapton. It sounds like a million songs, especially singers. This is singer-songwriter 101, right? Except they do all this stuff with the capo on. They don't usually use all these bar chords. Not that one. A minor, D, and then to G. I could have also done that here, G. This is D with F sharp in the bass. E minor, D, C, G with a B in the bass. Don't hit the extremities, just those middle four strings. It's really just G chord, or a Girl Scout G with just that one note. You could put that note in if you want. You could put that note in if you want. You can finger it several different ways, but for right now we might just go this, and then A minor, G. I like that fingering too for my open. 2, open, open, 4, muting out the bottom strings, A minor, a quick D, G. This would be it with open chords. I'm going to do G, and then I'd play a D chord, but wrap my thumb around on the bass on the F sharp. E minor. Now D, but with D in the bass, even though the D is way up here. C. I call this the 2-4 chord. 2 on the 2nd fret and 4 on the 3rd fret. And that's really just a singer-songwriter G chord, right? Without the, oh God, it's so weird to look at yourself on the video. Without the extremities. But I refinger it 2 and 4, A minor. Used for so much stuff, these 3 chords. C, G with the B in the bass, A minor. Cool. If we did all this crap in the key of D, I could start here on D, realizing that key of D would have D, E minor, F sharp minor, G major, A major, B minor, C sharp diminished, and D major. So here I'm going to go D, A with a C sharp in the bass, B minor, A, G, D with an F sharp in the bass, E minor, and a quick 5 chord, A, and D. Cool. Walk down, minor, major, major, walk down. Now there I could have gone a D with an F sharp in the bass, or I could finger it this way that I've been doing it before. Does that make sense? It's just an open version, you know, the new chord we learned today?
Yeah.
Always hold your pick very loosely. If you move it down to here, right, it could be the same as an open chord, D with F sharp in the bass, or D with F sharp in the bass. Cool? A, oh, or also D, still on D. I could do D here. A with a C sharp in the bass, B minor. These walk downs are essential. They're so guitaristic. A, G, D with F sharp in the bass, E minor, A, D, C sharp, A with a C sharp, B minor, A, G, D with F sharp, E minor, A, D. Key of A. A, this is E with a G sharp. This is the Tears in Heaven chord. Right? This is an E chord, power chord, up the octave, putting on my third in the bass, so E with a G sharp in the bass. So A is just open, would you know my name, F sharp minor, E, D, C sharp, or rather A with a C sharp in the bass, B minor, E, A. Cool. I could have done that several different ways. I could have gone up to here to A. D, A with a C sharp in the bass, B minor to E. One more time. A, it's like an open C chord. E with a G sharp, which is just E. That's why this chord's gonna be so valuable in just a second, next week. E with a G sharp in the bass, F sharp minor, E, D. I could play C sharp minor chord here, or I could play A with a C sharp in the bass, and that's what we're doing on this exercise. I know that's a little confusing. I charge extra money not to be confusing. Key of E. Here's my E chord. E. This is a B with a D sharp in the bass. It's B. I don't know how to play D sharp diminished, so I'm playing this chord. C sharp minor. Actually, I do. B major, A major, E with a G sharp in the bass, F sharp minor to B, E. I could have done E this way. A little easier to get to that chord. I could have done A this way. E with a G sharp in the bass. I could have done E open, E up in the 6th fret the whole time. At the very last minute, I jumped to the 5th string. Cool. I could have done E as an open G chord. And those are descending walk downs through the 5 main keys for the guitar. You know, pretty much all guitar stuff is either C, G, D, A, and E. Unless you're a jazzer or a blueser, but pretty much if you're like in a rock band or something, those are your main keys. And the most important thing is this walk down. How the 1 walks down to the 6th minor. Like if I'm in C, I walk down to the A minor. If I'm in G, I walk down to E minor. If I'm in D, I walk down to B minor. Right? D, A with a C sharp in the bass, B minor. If I'm in A, I walk down to F sharp minor. Cool. And if I'm on E, I walk down to C sharp minor. So what you'll also notice is that in the key of C, let's see if you can see this real quick. I've got a C, walks down to A minor. Then the next walk down is F to D minor. Well, when I go to the key of G, I've got that C walking down to A minor over here, where it used to be over where I started with this walk down, now it's over here. And now I've got a new walk down between G to E minor. Well, that G to E minor moves over here, and I've got a new walk down from D to B minor. This moves over here, then this moves over here. So we'll see that some of these keys are going to share one of the walk downs from the previous key. So you kind of once you learn one key, you know half of the next key. Because a lot of keys can share some of the same notes and same chords because they're very close. They're only one sharp apart, so they'd share some of the same. The other 6 notes are the same.
Right.
If you think of it that way. All right, that's enough for your chords for today.